on that subject, Dennis, you can go home to bed. Frank, you stay. Dennis, you go. Thanks very much for your time.
Time for the Harry Balls.
So it's time for the Harry Balls, yeah. Frank, listen, I wanted to talk to you earlier on. I want to ask you where we are with this proposal you put forward 10 days ago, 12 days ago to Eddie Hearn at Matchroom. This idea that you'd work together on making 5, 10, 15, 20 fights. Where are we with that?
We're supposed to be getting together in the next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens.
And have you had a conversation with him?
I've had one conversation.
And did that go very well?
It didn't last long. It was just we agreed to meet. And that's where we are. We're going to meet and we're going to make these fights happen because it's up to us to make them happen. You know, BT were on board. We had a conversation before we put the fights out. They're very much up for it. And I did an interview on Sky yesterday with Adam Smith and he was up for it. So between all of us, we've got to make it work.
And is it because you feel that even though we've had these lockdown shows and we've had some great nights in these lockdown shows, there aren't fans. Is it because you feel that we need to make sure we can deliver fights and keep delivering fights as we end this year and go into next year?
I do. What I really feel is we've had a lot of bad in this country. Everybody's suffering, and our sport's suffered. And I think we can get some good out of this bad by us getting our heads together and making some of these fights happen. I believe my guys will win, and I'm certain they believe their guys will, and we'll find out at the end of the day. But we should, for the sport, for the fans, because they're the ones who matter, for the fans, make these happen.
So I know you've not met face to face with Eddie, you've not sat down, you've not looked into it. So just do you have, in your mind, how would it work? Would we have two of your fighters on a Matchroom Sky show, and then they'd have two of their fighters on a BT show? What in your head? How does it work?
Well, it's got to be give and take, isn't it? That's what it's all about. That's what negotiations about. Bit of give and take, and just deliver to the fans.
And since you've put it forward, have you had every one of your fighters coming forward and saying to you, I want to be part of this, why'd you drop me out?
We have, yeah, they have. And obviously you can't just send a massive big list out. I need a roll of wallpaper. But we've done, we've get the ball rolling. Let's try and get the ball rolling with some of these fights. They're guys who are, there's some fights there I think that will be real quality fights and pretty evenly matched contests. And at the end of the day, there's I suppose a bit of spice in it, and the fact that it's Queensbury and Matchroom, so let's make them happen.
So the beauty of it is that to make it happen, you put aside promotional ego and promotional pride, but once they actually happen, then you get real pride, and in fact that's when you can your preening.
God, we'll be offering bonuses to our guys to beat their guys. Of course we want to win. We're in a competitive business, and I'm sure it's the other way around. That's what's so good about this. If we can make it happen, it'll be the best thing that's happened to boxing in my time in the sport.
Tell the truth tonight. I mean, without the crowd, I've watched your face. I know it's great to have the boxing
I find it really
back.
difficult.
That's it. That's what I wanted to hear.
I find it really difficult. I feel what is happening. I feel is happening on the fights that I've seen over the last few weeks, on all the fights, is we're getting more out of the opponents. Yeah. They're in a neutral situation where they're normally the guys going in the other guy's backyard. The home fighter's got all these fans there and so forth. These guys, a lot of these fights are really, really close. I mean, really close. Nothing in it, and that's, I think, have been across the board. So it's sterile for them getting into the ring, and maybe some of them need their fans there to lift them at times, but. Of course, it's a real alien environment. It's like watching football on the television. You've got to get used to it. When I was first watching the football in the box with no crowds, I was struggling with it a bit. You sort of don't get that feel like it's real, but obviously it's real in here. These guys are knocking lumps off each other, but it's where we are now. That's what we're doing, and we just try to keep it going and make sure that it keeps relevant to sport, and we keep putting the fights on.
Okay, so back to the revolution. You're going to have this. You're going to have a sit down with Ed. You're going to break bread, have some scampi or whatever. Thought he might have even been here tonight, and then start to hopefully make some of these fights happen.
That's what I want to do. I don't care whether we're having scampi, beans on toast, I don't give a monkeys. That's all irrelevant. What is relevant is making these fights happen and doing it for the fans. That's what's relevant.
Frank, thanks very much for your time tonight. Thank you very much.